What's going on, Canfield Nation? Welcome back, Coca's Pizza. And this is a special week because it's the state championship week for the Canfield Cardinals football team. We are pleased to be joined by one of the captains up front and the senior offensive lineman, A.J. Murphy. Second time here interviewing you, and this is a very special week for you and your football team.
Oh, 100%. It's what we work for all season, all year. Haven't been back. It's first time back since 2005, second time in school history. Hoping to bring it home this time. So
you were born in 05, weren't you?
I was. It's a crazy coincidence.
It is. All right, let's talk about this journey in this season, because when we talked to you, it was in the early stages of the season, just getting started. It was a lot sunnier. Now it's completely dark outside. What has this ride been like for you? Obviously, your final year in the Canfield Cardinals uniform. You've played some incredible competition, incredible games. Just talk about overall for you what this season has been like.
Oh, it's real special year. I mean, even from the get-go with game against West Branch, great way to start it off. And then, when we beat Poland, obviously you always want to beat your rival. We had a little hiccup at Cheney, but, the next week we got it back with Dover, and probably one of my favorite football games I think I've ever been a part of. In overtime, I think we won 21-20 or 20-14 maybe. Probably one of my favorite and most special games ever. It was a back and forth game all night. They're a great team. They're a lot better than their record says. I think they lost 3 games in overtime throughout the course of the year, which incredibly rare. I kind of feel bad for them in a way because they're right there, but they're a great team. It's one of my favorite games. Then it was really got it rolling after that. We just kept it going, and then into the playoffs, it's always was almost a feeling of like we don't want to be done yet. We want to be practicing on Monday, and then I always say I've never been so happy to be able to go to practice on Monday, a week after a big playoff game. So and it's especially all the games so far. I have a funny story for you. I actually have Aurora's game ball for my last home game.
Really?
Believe
That's
it or not.
awesome. How'd you get that?
So they kicked a field goal over the band shell. Okay. My dad and my brother saw it from the stands. They saw it, got stuck up on the roof, and they saw Aurora's ball boys. They came back. They're like, where's the ball? We don't have the ball. So my dad was like, all night when I got home, he was like, I'm going back up there. I'm going to bring a fishing pole and fish up. He was getting that ball regardless of what happened. So he goes back up there, him and my brother and my dog. My brother David, so they're walking the track. They're walking down like away sides. They come down. My brother sees the ball. My dad's like, my brother David, freshman or sophomore, he runs down there. My dad thinks he's pulling a leg on him. Like, oh, we found the ball. He didn't. He runs down there, like down like the little dip after the track, and comes back roar game football.
That's incredible.
And I was in film. I pulled out. I saw a text. I'm watching the game film. I pull up my phone. I see we got it. I see a picture of it. And I'm like, I show this I think Alex Hugo is next to me. Like, Hugo, look at this. One of the coolest moments of my entire life. So in my room on my shelf, I have Aurora's game football from my last home game.
You're going to have to get all the seniors to sign that football.
Oh, yeah. We got to get some there. I want to get a trophy case for it because that's truly special.
That's awesome.
The game was, I think it was 44-7. Yeah. Something like it was a great game. I mean, they were a real good team. We had a really good week of practice and we just put it all together. But it's truly special. For my last home game, that was my first ever game ball I've ever gotten in 8 years. I have it on my shelf.
Well, you deserve it, man. You played a heck of a game that night. It was special for you and your entire senior class to go out with a victory at Cardinal Stadium for the last time. And with the 28 seniors, this is such a special group. Each and every week we talk about it. And you guys all get along. You're all friends off the football field, always watching film together. Talk about the camaraderie of the senior class and how that translates off the field to when you're communicating as a line, and working together as a group.
Oh my, that's truly special. I mean, we've been with these guys since we were 10, 11 years old, 5th, 6th grade. And it's almost the point where I know what they're going to tell me and what they're going to do before they even do it, which even helps, especially if on the line with me and Santino Coca. It'll be a play. I know how he's going to block a play before he even does it. And so I can compliment him, or I can say, hey, maybe we should do this time. And he'll know, we're all on the same wavelength.
Yep.
And it's also another part of, we're fighting for the guy next to you, 100%. And that's what makes it, when you get tired, when you get in that third, fourth quarter, you need to get in that game. I mean, you think of that guy, I'm playing for that guy next to me. And it really comes down to it. I really think that's what puts Canfield different from other teams. Because, we've played teams that are bigger than us. We've played teams big, fastest, better athletes. But I truly believe that no team in this area has a better bond than us. I mean, I love every single person on the team, and I think everyone loves me back. So
well, they for sure do. Speaking of that, Bloom Carroll, their offensive line, defensive line, they run a 3-4 defense. They're huge. They're huge. They're the biggest line you're going to play all year. But with that being said, there's always something about the Canfield kid, and you talked about it with the communication and, the hard physical practices you guys have throughout the week that prepares you for a big offensive line and defensive line. So when you look across the line, you're the biggest guy. So, you're not intimidated, but a lot of your teammates are smaller than the opposition. This team has not been afraid of anybody the entire year. And I think that's also going to be shown on Friday afternoon when you play the biggest line you're going to face all year in Bloom Carroll.
Well, yeah, I think also part of it too is when you watch tape, a lot of times the way you beat their offensive line is you get a lot of times like smaller, faster guys. So we're trying to just, if we can get on, we can just beat them off the line and not let them get their, big meat claws on us. No, I mean, I got big meat claws, but just try to get them off and we try to run around them. And I'm sure our defense line is going to do a great job.
Yeah.
I have full faith in them, and I'm sure our offense line, we got a task ahead of us, but it's nothing we haven't done before. I mean, we've seen some big cats before. I mean, we just got to go out, and honestly, we're just going to give them our best shot. I mean, we've prepared all week for this. I've watched countless hours of film. Everyone else has. And the whole season has almost led up to this moment. So we're going to go out there, give them our best shot. And if I believe with every inch of my body that we're going to win. And I mean, I never go into the game thinking I'm going to lose because I don't know, but if it happens, it happens. If not, I can live okay with knowing that I gave them my best shot.
What's the excitement been like for this week? I mean, can you even sleep at night thinking about this game?
It's incredible. I mean, it's tough because I'm trying to just treat it like a regular game. Like, it's a regular Wednesday practice. It's regular Thursday walkthrough. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, this is the state title. Like, this is the game I've worked my whole 17 years of life to get to. But we really just got to make sure we keep it a football game because we've been okay playing football games in the past 16, 17 weeks. So we just got to go out there and just play Canfield football. I think it's definitely our biggest key.
You've talked about your biggest and favorite game so far this season with Dover and that back and forth affair. Is there a favorite play that you've had throughout the season? Maybe a good block that you've had that you're going to remember?
Yeah, it was against Poland, actually. It was a middle screen. And the middle screen, you hold the D-line for 2 seconds and you throw them to the outside. So this kid was not expecting it. I kind of feel bad for him, but I got him, I threw him down, and I get up to the linebacker, and I just blow up the linebacker. So in the span of about 4 seconds, I had 2 guys on the ground. Thankfully, no penalties, which is honestly the best part of it. So that's one of my favorite plays, I think, from the year.
That helps on film for sure. Looking at colleges, that's definitely going to be your number one play you're going to throw out there on the tape, right?
Definitely.
When we spoke to you early part of the season, you had a couple offers to go play at the next level. How much have you kept in touch with those colleges, maybe even expanded your recruiting profile a little bit? Kind of talk about what your plans are after the season.
Oh, yeah, I've just been, keeping up with the coaches I've been with, like Ash and Walsh, and then I picked up an offer from Tiffin, but I've been in contact with those guys, and I actually recently got on campus with Tiffin, but it's all. I'm really at this point of the year, I'm just more focused on my regular season. But definitely in the next a couple weeks after season, there's going to be a lot of big choices ahead of me. But I'm sure with me, my family, my coaches we'll make the right decision.
What do you do after football's over? That's a question. We're in December. This is the best part of the year playing football. We are in December, but when you're done with football, what do you do? Because this is a 16-week season. It's obviously grueling on the mind and the body. So, what are you going to do after the season's over to kind of relax?
Honestly, I don't even know. If it was summertime, I'd say I'd go golfing, but it's a little cold out. But I think it'd probably take a couple weeks off. Just rest and recovery. It's a long season, but at the end of the day, I got to get back in the weight room, and really prepare and get back in the weight room with them. Big jump rope guy. I think it helps the feet. So that's really the long-term plan. So probably, if I had to say 2-3 weeks, maybe to the new year, I'll probably start again. But I honestly don't even know what I'm doing. This takes up so much of my time, and I'm going to miss every minute of it. So.
All right, I want to name your awards real quick. I want to make sure I get these right. First team All AAC this year.
Yep.
First team All AAC Northeastern D3 offensive lineman, right? So all first team Northeastern D3 and All AAC. Second year in a row being on the All AAC team. We talked about it earlier in the season. This was your goal to get first team because last year second. This year you get first. How does that feel for you, knowing that all the hard work you have put in, you got the award this year?
It's definitely a big thing. And also, my bigger jump was in All NEO. I was honorable mention last year, and I went from honorable mention to the first team. And that was one of my goals. But at the end of the day, on Friday at 3:00, those aren't going to mean very much. And that's my bigger goal. But it's clearly really important. But it's always, I never work with that intentionally. I work with, winning games, but it's definitely good to know in the back of my mind that it's starting to pay off.
This Canfield community is really rallied around this bunch. I mean, with the send-offs you guys have had when you have some long trips, the signs all over the schools. I was in the school doing a basketball game the other day, and there's signs everywhere. Even the elementary schools are sending videos to you guys. Talk about what this means, having the community behind you, in such a big stretch.
Oh, it's great. Just to know they got our backs. It's just great, and especially seeing when we played Chardon, the Hilltop Elementary. They send us all stuff send the Hilltoppers back to the hill. And knowing from the little kids, they would all read us these cards, and they'd all say Canfield's gonna win 57 in the back. I'm like, oh, this is just so cute, because I was that little kid once.
Yeah,
I was the little kid that looked up to all these big guys, and now it's just funny, and it's really heartwarming to be on the other end of the spectrum. And I hope I can leave a good lasting memory in these kids' minds and make them want to play Canfield football.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what's all about, keeping the program alive. And I really think this class coming up and the little kids, it's really going to be important that they've seen us experience success. And hopefully that's going to want them to drive them to create their own success.
And with that, if you had to tell one of those elementary kids one thing about how to be successful and get to a state championship, what would you tell them?
Well, first of all, I think enjoy the time with your brothers. But secondly, you just got to be able to work and be willing to put the work in, especially most of the time in the winter when people don't see and I was up every morning, 5 a.m, lifting before school and then lifting after school and then just making sure you're eating right and being able to know if we want to be at this weight for the season. So my sophomore year, I was 245. My next junior year, the goal was 275, and I hit that in June. And so really just going to make sure that you're putting in constant work and just doing the right things, and especially film work. I think film work is one of the most crucial parts. It's the answers to the test.
Yep.
Really. You got the answers to the test for it. And if you study, you can almost see sometimes, if it's third down, they're probably going to blitz on this play, and they're probably going to send this backer blitz. Or when the linebacker walks up the line, taps the lineman, he's blitzing out, linebacker's coming. It's just little things like that you can pick up on, and but overall, just working hard, and all the things come together, but hard work. Definitely.
Last thing for you. You talked about it. When you were born in 2005, that was the last time this team was in the state championship against Toledo Central Catholic. How much would this mean, not for just you, your teammates, but everybody that has put on a Canfield jersey at one point?
Oh, I think it would mean the world. We have on our board, we have about 8 or 10 just letters from old Canfield alumni players of the 2006, 2007, 2005 class. I think it would honestly mean the world to them to know that a team has finally gotten over the hill, gotten over the top. We've done it, because there's no one ever wearing a Canfield state championship ring.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a sad fact, but hopefully I want our class and the two class below me be the first. But I truly think it'd be incredible for them to finally see a team that because I know 20 years from now, 17 years from now, if I see a Canfield team win a state championship, I'm gonna be the happiest man on life for these kids, because I know I've been through it, and I want them their hard work to pay off.
Yep. AJ, we appreciate your time as always. Thanks for coming out again, man.
You.
Wish you the best of luck in a big one. Friday, 3:00, Bloom Carroll against Canfield, the state championship in Division III. He's going to have a huge impact on the football game on Friday afternoon. We'll have Coach Pavlansky coming up next. It's another player profile here from Coca's Pizza in Canfield.